What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today I have a really fun video. I've been looking forward to doing this for a while. I'm going to be comparing all four of these manual button lock flippers. I have become a huge fan. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. All right, today is going to be the day that we are going to compare some manual button lock flippers, or manual button lock knives. All of these do actually have flippers, but I just have really fallen in love with the button lock. I have all of these knives on the table are my knives, except for one. This one is Jake from Bearded Gear. Thank you again, sir, for letting me borrow this. I am so happy that I have this here to do this comparison, because all of these knives are wonderful knives that I really enjoy. But we're going to compare them, see what you guys think. If you're thinking about getting a button lock flipper, of course there are many other models out there. These are the ones that I have and have enjoyed and been able to play with. So we're going to go over what I like, what I don't like, what I think some of these knives have better than the other ones, things like that. It's not going to really be like a scoring system per se. I'm not going to have, kind of a winner at the end. I'm basically going to let you know which knives I like for which reasons, and where they fall in the category of the best and the least for each category. Does that make sense? Hope it does. So anyways, let's get started. First things first. All but one of these knives are made in America. So if that's something important to you, take this one out. This one is a Spyderco. It's called the Spyderco Smock. It's made in Taichung, Taiwan. Now, of course, Spyderco was an American company, but they outsourced this knife to Taiwan. So if that's important to you, just keep that in mind. This is the Spartan Blades Pallas. This is the Protech Drop Mordax, the Spyderco Smock, and of course the Protech Malibu. All of these knives are wonderful. If you were looking at any of them and you like one more than the other, either for aesthetics or whatever, definitely recommendable knives. So, but speaking of aesthetics, let's just get that one out of the way, because that is very subjective. So don't take this with a grain, take this with a grain of salt, and don't take me, very seriously, because everybody has a different opinion about aesthetics of knives. So, as far as what I think on the table, the Spyderco Smock is a unique design, and I like it. However, compared to these three knives, it is definitely the least favorite aesthetically pleasing knife on the table for me. And then you have the Malibu and the Mordax, both made by Protech. They do an excellent job. Of course, this is a drop design. This is a Protech design. It's hard. It really is hard. All three of these knives are very aesthetically pleasing. And it might just be because the Spartan Blade knives is the newest for me. I've done a full review of all of these knives except for the Spartan. That will be coming shortly, but I needed to get this done so I could send this knife back to Jake. But as of right now, I really think that the Spartan Pallas is the most attractive looking knife on the table. But these things are so beautiful. I mean, they really are. It's very hard for me to say that. I think all of these knives are done well and just aesthetically look amazing. The fit and finish on them are just absolutely stellar. So that is where I rank those. But like I said, take that for what it is. Everybody is different. As far as size, I mean, you can obviously kind of tell that all of these knives are just a little bit, different in size, obviously. So the Mordax is an overall length of 8 1/4. The Pallas is 8 3/4. So these are the two biggest knives. And then you have the Malibu at 7.5 inches, and then the Smock at 7.875 inches overall. So if you're looking for a particular size knife, this kind of gives you a good range, I think, of button lock flippers to kind of go by. Obviously, this one being the big boy, and of course, I like big knives. So the size I do like on the Pallas and on the Mordax. I was actually going back and forth between the Protech Mordax and the Malibu, but when I saw Jake's video comparing these two knives, this one was bigger, and so I did go with a bigger knife just because that's how I roll. But when I got this knife, the Malibu, I was very impressed. So, but that gives you a range of what the sizes are. Of course, with that comes your blade size. You have a blade length of 3.6 on the Mordax. You have a blade length of 3.75 on the Pallas. You have a blade length of 3 1/4 on the Malibu, and a blade length of 3 3/8 on the Smock. So as you can see, the blade lengths, but then you have a little bit shorter of cutting edge. We won't go over all that, but you can see finger choil, big choil there, so it kind of drops your length just a little bit because of that. All of these knives are excellent cutters. I would say that, I mean, all of them really cut well. As far as the one that actually is like a laser beam cutter, I would say, you know, with a hollow grind on the Smock, it gets the thinnest behind the edge. This is about 18 thousandths behind the edge versus, you know, the Malibu and the Mordax are around 24 thousandths behind the edge. And then, of course, this big boy right here is about 30 thousandths behind the edge. So it cuts, and it cuts like a dream, but it's not a laser beam slicer. So take that for what it is. You know, it's kind of one of those things where it depends on what you're going to use your knife for, right? Now, these are all, excuse me, very well-built knives, all of them, so they can handle a lot. As far as what they can handle, you know, what kind of steel are we talking about? Well, both of the Protechs are in CPM 20CV, which is my favorite steel, especially for like an EDC blade. I love it. 20CV is just awesome. Then you have S35VN on the Pallas, and then S30V on the Smock. Now, of course, as far as blades are concerned, you know, it really depends on what you're doing, but if I had to rank them, I mean, I would rather have 20CV on an EDC blade. The S35VN, I think, is an awesome blade, and they do it very well. From what I can read, Spartan Blades does S35VN really, really well. So I really don't mind the S35VN being on the Pallas. Now, I do believe that they're moving to S45VN, and I don't know much about that still, but sounds like it might be a little bit of an upgrade. But yeah, I mean, the S30V, it's the standard steel that goes on your basic Spyderco's, Benchmades, and whatnot. So it's a fine steel, but obviously these three take it for me as far as the steel. Okay, so the handles, 3 of these are aluminum. 1 of them is G10 carbon fiber laminate. So the aluminum is the same on all of them. I think it's 6061 aluminum, I believe. Very well done, very well finished. Obviously, I like the aluminum better than I do the carbon fiber laminate over G10. I think most people would agree with that, but I'm not exactly sure. If this was full carbon fiber, maybe it would be higher, you know, as far as what I would like. But now, the aluminum in this category of these knives wins hands down. All of them are very well finished. It's just a little bit different. The Protechs are about the same, which granted they would be because they're made in the same factory. It's just a little bit different on the Spartan, but all of them are done very, very well. Can't complain at all. So as far as, you know, you got different blade shapes here. You can get a couple of different sizes in the Malibu. The Mordax only comes in one blade shape. The Pallas comes in one blade shape, and so does the Smock. So you've got just like 2 options here. So as far as blade is concerned, you have only ones you really have options with are this, from what I understand. I really like a drop point, and I love this reverse Tonto. Golly, that's so I really love that that blade shape, the reverse Tonto. However, I do also like the drop point. So I really like the blade shape because it's just like bigger knives. You know, not everybody's going to be the same. So I like the blade shape on the Pallas. A little less belly than the Mordax, which I'm really okay with. I like the flat and then just a little bit of curve up to that drop point. This one curves us a little bit more. And then the Smock, I really like it as well. It's kind of, you know, it's a Warncliffe, but it, you know, it looks about the same as a reverse Tanto, right? So, but yeah, that's what these all have. And, you know, as far as the finishes on the blades, you have tumbled finishes on these 3 and then a satin on this. I love a tumbled finish. So that automatically, I love the tumbled finish on all my blades if I can get it in that. And the tumbling on the Protechs is immaculate. I love it. But it's just a little bit better done for my liking. Some people like more of a shiny tumble finish and other ones don't. So let me just kind of get this up here if we can see. So how that heavy tumble finish. I like it because it's a working finish when you're working with your knives. It's not going to show scratches. I think it looks really good. These Protechs also have a good tumble finish. Come on, Cameron, and light. Jeez. They also have a good tumble finish on these. It's just not as much of a tumble finish. So this one actually might look prettier for a lot of people. I just like the heavier stone wash. But Protech does an excellent, excellent job. Let's see. As far as I don't know if I mentioned as far as the edge, all of these are flat ground except for the Smock. So it is a hollow ground. That's why we have the 18,000s behind the edge. The rest of them are what I call a saber grind, which is a flat grind that doesn't go all the way up. So I think all of them are fine. All of them cut good. As far as the blade shapes are concerned, they all it's like a tie for me. I really can't decide on that. I love them all. Now, here's where we get a little bit interesting. When you're talking about, we have two categories here, action and deployment. That's where we get a little tricky. Okay. So the first button lock flipper that I had was the Smock. That was the first one in my collection. And I fell in love with the button lock because it was something different, and I really, really enjoyed it. The action on this thing, it does have two detents, and a lot of people take the second detent out. I haven't done that on this, and that might help, but, the action is fine. Matter of fact, I raved about it whenever I did the video. The detent's fine. It does rocket out of there. It's just a great action. It just doesn't fall shut like some of the others. I mean, it does with the button, but just with a little encouragement, it's okay. These three, on the other hand, holy crap. So the next one that I did get is the Protech Mordax. When I got this in hand, I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a great action, especially on a button lock. And it is so sweet. It just drops shut with that button lock ever so slightly. Even with that big blade, just depending on where you're going, it drops shut. Deploys very, very well, and it just is so much fun. All of these knives, so much fun to play with. Then I got the Malibu from Jake. Action on the Malibu is better than the Mordax. They made this first. They actually had another button lock that they made. Jake did a video on those, and it was good. And then this was a little bit better. And then this was a little bit better than that. Everybody is raving. The detent is tuned so well on the Malibu. It's not even funny. I fell in love with this knife. I mean, the Mordax has a great action, but it does feel different than the Malibu. Like it is a lighter blade. It flicks out so nice. I mean, they both do, but when I flick this out compared to the Malibu feels better. It just does. And then I got the Pallas. It's a bigger knife, but the action on the Pallas, now this is a used knife. All of these are drop shutty for the exception really of the Smock, which is just, it's drop shutty, but not as much. The Pallas to me is action-wise butter. So smooth, so drop shutty, easy to fire. Now it's, all of these, I would say as far as being able to fail, as far as being a little laggy, the Malibu takes that cake because it's a little bit, I would say, lazy on the Mordax and maybe and just a little bit better on the Pallas. But the action otherwise, I would have to say Pallas. I really really love that knife. Like I said, I just got it too, so it might be the honeymoon phase talking. So action-wise, I would give it to the Pallas, the Malibu, then the Mordax, and then the Smock. Ergonomics. Big one here. The ergonomics on all of these knives are good. Or actually, all of these knives are great except for the Smock. The Smock is a neutral size handle. It does feel good in the hand. The jimping is, you know, reasonably well done up here, but it lacks in comparison to these. If you've got a Smock or if you want a Smock, it's not uncomfortable of a knife at all, but it's kind of a blocky feel. So definitely the last on the list as far as ergonomics. These two knives are great. Like I said, I bought this one because I thought this one was going to be too small for me. And when I got the Mordax, I was like, man, that's ergonomic. I love a finger troll, so I can choke up. It pokes me just a little bit back there. So this knife melts in the hand with that. But I was so surprised at the Malibu because I can get a full finger grip. The ergonomics on this guy is stellar as well. So I kind of have to tie these and give maybe an edge to the Mordax because of the finger troll, and it's just my personal preference. But the winner for ergonomics is definitely the Spartan Pallas. First of all, it's a bigger knife, so it fits my hands good. I got more room. Then I do like that. This is definitely going to be a personal preference, guys. The thickness and the width just feel awesome. The little area I can put my thumb in here makes it to where I don't really feel like I need a finger troll. I can choke up like this and feel good. It's just comfortable in each and every way. So I have to give ergonomics to the Pallas as of right now. Yeah, it's just, I got big hands, so obviously the bigger knives are going to fit my hands better. Deployment, we would have kind of go over an action, but deployment is a thing where I say deployment, but it's also how you get the knife back. So we're talking about button locks here. All of them get the blade back in a certain way. You just press the button. But deployment is also key for me fidgeting wise. So you've got your Smock, okay? And I said this knife was fidget factor overload because it is. And the reason is because I can flip it like a regular flipper. I can do the light switch flip. I can do the Spidey flick. And you can really even slow roll it, even though it's kind of dangerous because that piece right there is sharp as hell. And I cut myself on it when I did my review. Definitely go check that out. It's pretty funny. But anyway, deployment, you know, I love this knife because I can deploy it in all those different ways. That to me is huge because I like to play with my knives. These two knives are button lock flippers. That's it, except for you can press the button and whack it out like that, which is super fun, but it takes a little bit to get used to. You depress the button and flip it out. See, as I can, I can't do it underneath the camera very well. It's the same with the Mordax. So that's super fun, but main deployment on these two are, of course, the flipper. The Pallas, however, does have the flipper, which is awesome, but it has the thumb stud, which is, it almost makes it even better. And then, of course, I can Spidey flick it from that thumb stud. So, because this thing is smoother than this one has more deployment options, so it's really fidgety, but this one takes the cake as far as deployment. I just think it gets the knife out there very, very fast. It comes back in. I can do it multiple different ways, and it's a lot more fun than most of these other knives, even though button locks are just by nature fun as hell. Fit and finish on all these knives are great. However, the Protech and the Spartans are really, really nice. I have to maybe give an edge to the Spartan. Now it's a different, it's a different tier of a knife. And we'll go over that when we go over value. But fit and finish on these three knives are just stellar. You can't find really any flaws. The Protech and Spartan, the manufacturers are just awesome. And you know what? Taichung Taiwan does some really good stuff. It's just maybe the Smock. It just doesn't have the fit and finish. You can just tell more quality. People are going to give me hell for that. But holding them, I think these three knives are more quality. More quality knives, just hands down, when I'm picking this up and playing with it versus these three. hands down. What do I use these knives for? Well, I think they all have a little bit different use. This one's a button lock flipper, and I wouldn't usually say a button lock flipper is made for like hard use, you know. But this is a very well built knife. I believe that this one is going to be like a medium to heavy duty use if I have a button lock in my hand. This one is definitely going to take the cake there. This one is heavy use as well. I don't think it's going to be able to hold up to this one though, just by feel. I haven't gone out there and done crazy things with these knives, but just the build quality and the way they feel, I believe that this one's going to be the hardest worker next to this one. And then these two are going to be your EDC blades. Obviously, I believe the Malibu would win in a competition between the Smock, hands down, as far as an EDC blade. It's smaller, easy to carry, and just great steel. This is a perfect EDC knife for anybody. I think anybody would fall in love with this knife because it's easy to carry and it's just beautiful. I really think EDC wise, Malibu all the way. Hard work, Pallas. As far as carry, this is also kind of personal preference, but Protech makes the absolute best pocket clips as far as it comes to the factory. They're loop over deep carry pocket clips with recessed screws. If I can show you, focus. That's how you do a pocket clip. Spyderco spoon clip, it works. Sticks out of your pocket a little bit. It works just fine. Just I don't think is well made as the Protechs, especially for the market today that everybody's wanting a deep carry. Spartan is a bent titanium pocket clip. I really dig the arrow on it, but it sticks up out of your pocket. It does not bother me one bit. I love the way this knife carries. They all carry great. However, I know a lot of people really want a deep carry clip, and Protech just delivers. They deliver so well on their clips. So it's all the clips are great, except I would give the edge to Protech because they just are geniuses when it comes to that. All of them do carry well in the pocket. I mean, you don't really have any problems there. This one, it's a little bit heavier. I don't care because I wear heavier pants, but definitely the heaviest of the bunch. And, but they carry really well in the pocket. It's not like you're going to feel something just dragging you down or bumping your leg. I really think that all of these carry very well. Obviously, the Mordax or the Malibu is going to carry the best because it's the lightest, the smallest. So if you're looking for a great EDC knife, out of all of these, the Malibu, hands down, go for it. Value. This is this might surprise you guys if you don't know the prices of these. Okay, so the Smock is $175. That's, I think, a good price. However, when I bought this, I really wasn't, hurt by that price at all because I really love the knife, and I still love the knife. However, I am slowly getting away from liking this G10 carbon fiber G10 laminate stuff to where if they would make this in full carbon fiber, I think it'd be more worth the $175. The Malibu, I think, is an awesome deal. You pay $189 for this guy. I think that's a steal. They are going to be dropping another batch of these soon, I believe, and they will go quick. So if you want one of these, you need to stay on that. $189 all day, every day. I think it's a steal. The Protech Mordax. It's a $240 knife. I still think it's worth that price. You're getting good steel, but you're getting the same steel and the same handles. It's just a different design. So what some of my viewers had pointed out is that this is a Protech design. This is a drop design that is built by Protech. So you got more people in the mix needing money for this guy. So that is why this one is higher. It's about $240. So do I think it's still worth it? I think it is because it's such a great knife. But I would have liked to see it, maybe $225, even $25 would help out, I believe. And then we get to the Pallas. The Pallas. I did it. Oh my gosh, I'm doing what everybody else did. I even looked it up. It's called the Pallas. This guy is $285. So, yeah. Definitely not a expensive, but not inexpensive. I do believe with the amount of work that goes into these knives, this is an American-made, Protech's an American-made company, but this one is a smaller American-made company that I believe do more hand tuning on these knives. I may be wrong. Protech's, oh my gosh, I've never had a problem. Matter of fact, I'm a huge Protech fan, but I still think it's worth it. The $285. Now, if you're not looking to spend that much on a knife, I totally get it. And these are some great options. This is definitely the most expensive one, but I don't regret this at all. Not at all. So I think the best value on the table is definitely going to be the Malibu. So if you're looking for one, that would be the one that I would buy unless you just like the look of the other ones on the table. The buttons on all these things are absolutely great, except for the Smock. You can kind of see the difference on where the button lies on these. These are a more intuitive button location than on the Smock. You get used to it, but it's just you have to bring your thumb too far back, in my opinion. Well, on these, it is right there, and I really enjoy it being up here versus down there on the Smock. I do like the Pallas. The Pallas, golly, I keep doing it, has a little bit of jimping or kind of stepping down on their button, which is not aggressive at all, but it has you feel that there. I do believe that I like this button better than the other two, or the other three, because this one right here sticks up like crazy. See how far the Smock sticks up off that scale? Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. And then the Malibu and the Mordax, it is kind of nestled down there and just barely proud of that surface. And it's kind of the same deal with the Pallas, except for it sticks up just a little bit more. It's a huge button. You're not going to miss it. You know, sometimes I do feel on these two knives that when I press it, I've got big old sausagey fingers. So when I press it, it's like I don't get it all the way down. I can feel that just a little bit. So that's a thing. I really prefer the button on the Spartan, but that's just me. Some people like the minimalist thing. So all in all, awesome knives. This was kind of scatterbrained, guys. I really apologize, but I just kind of wanted to give you my idea on if I had to choose these knives for certain reasons, what I like and what I didn't like. I hope this helped you out. Sorry about that, guys. Freaking camera cut out. All right, we're done here. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Hit the subscribe button and the like button. Guys, I'm telling you, these knives are great. If you want to buy one of these, they're awesome. I would highly recommend any of them. Of course, the two that I really, really enjoy are the Pallas and the Malibu. These two right here are just awesome. Awesome, awesome knives. Love the Mordax, but it would be the Pallas, Malibu, Mordax, Smock in that order if I had to do it all over again. So, guys, thanks for stopping by. Hit the subscribe bell, subscribe button, and notification bell for all this stuff. You know, just stroke my ego a little bit. Stay tuned for more. We got a lot more coming. I have another Spartan blade headed this way. I don't know when this video is going to post. You might see that before, or you might not. I don't know. But stay safe out there, guys, in this crazy, crazy world that we're living in. And I will see you in the next one.